AJ, Darren, Cameron, Caleb, for months now, these four have been etched in stone atop the 2026 NBA draft. The cycle has been defined by these potential pillars. But many moons ago, another extraordinarily talented individual was universally placed in this stratosphere. In his one season at Tennessee, Nate Ament didn't quite meet or exceed these lofty expectations. Everyone has recalibrated as a result. The pendulum has rightly swung in this case. His meteoric rise throughout high school obscured the question marks and limitations in his profile, which became more illuminated at the college level.
Attention to detail. Yeah. Making sure that you're where you're supposed to be, making sure that you communicate effectively.
Ament double team. Every time he catches it, they're on him. Down the lane, he got pushed.
3 of their top 4 scores from last season. And again, they like to shoot the 3. They make about 9 a contest. An early paint bucket.
How the expectations level are for those 6 teams. We also know there's always other good teams.
Almost turned it over. Buchanan this time to the rim. Reset across the way. Milo shoots it. Cradles into a 3 and misses it. And in turn, that
all over the rim. Rejected. Not that time. Check out the handles from Ament all the way to the rim. And that's what you love about this kid. So talented. Still fighting it back to the line.
Big, but he always got the shot off. And man, when it was going up, he thought it was in. 2 hands.
the king of the Volunteers was really good, though.
Yes, he was.
Ament on the drive, couldn't finish it.
Lost it. Great interior defense.
Good heads up help made him in.
Ament through spin. He tried to do it too much.
Playing time is going to get reduced as you get into the teeth of the season. Coach Barnes can't afford to go 13.
Ament put him in front with the three. On the drive, lost the handle on it. They scramble inside, out of there.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yet, despite all the discouraging moments, Ament developed into an indispensable player for Rick Barnes' squad. A Tennessee team that made it all the way to the Elite Eight. This was a testament not only to his talent, but also his makeup. Defense is where Ament showed the most growth, improving in virtually every facet.
Green, Pierce trying to elevate over Ament, hit the rim.
Maryland for Kevin Willard, and Willard left and went to Villanova, and he went into the portal.
Thanks for that. I should know Florida, Northern Colorado is where that came from.
That's what he told his team. Good hands here by Nate. Might be their season low within a game right now.
Pettiford throws an alley-oop to Nate Ament. That's the wrong color jersey.
On the other side of the floor, there were harder attacks off the catch.
With the left hand.
as well as baby steps in the off-the-dribble craft.
For the SEC and 2 powers in the conference. Ament. That's a pretty move in the paint.
That was for this game. It's starting to get to double figures for the Tennessee basket here.
And Ole Miss already with 9 fouls in this half.
Ament gives it away, gets it back. He's got a lane. He goes right at Agee and gets it off the window.
The second half of the Oklahoma game in February stood out for the progression in his playmaking.
Many as 18. Richard has cut it to 6 with 7:45 to go.
Porter Moser knows he has a team that will continue to fight. Big performances down the stretch. Definitely be in consideration.
Dumps it into Akpara. What a nifty right-hand turnaround by the second-year transfer.
And now the book has closed on the 2025-26 season. With the dust settled, Nate Ament's star has dimmed as an elite prospect. So where should he slot in heading into this draft? Is he a developmental project? A long-term solution on the wing? Or something more? Let's dive in. Despite the stock dip, Ament was featured on this Vols team and was named second team All-SEC to boot. The large dosages on ball cast light on just how one-dimensional he is as a creator. Most will point to the lack of strength first. And yes, this does impede Ament on his drive, particularly his ability to handle or gather while withstanding a bump.
Don't discount what Bishop Boswell does. He's our unsung hero. And Casilla.
However, the biggest limiting factor in Nate Ament's game is his feet. The subpar burst, it's an inability to push off his back foot. The lack of deception in his handle, inability to toggle foot heights and position. The holes in his pull-up arsenal, inability to rise up quickly. And as a result, Ament was purely a one-cut driver, back-down artist at Tennessee. He relied on quick crosses, spins, and turns to generate openings. And he doesn't require much separation at all, given his high release point.
Ament hesitates for a second, then drives hard, throws it up, no. He got his own rebound, may have got away with a walk, throws it up again.
Getting by 3. Here's Ament.
Only it often ended like this. What's the opposite of incisive? Dysfunctional?
Ament working against catching. That's good D by the Georgia sophomore.
Relatedly, the Vols were 6th to last in field goal percentage and 2nd to last in turnover rate among NCAA at-large bid tournament teams. Now you can understand what led to Ament's ghastly efficiency as a freshman. So low that naturally, many are writing him off completely. Further, his ancillary stats do not lend much evidence to team-wide impact or even raw instincts. The ghosts of Kevin Knox and Zaire Williams' past ring as cautionary tales for betting on size and pedigree over the college results. And yet, behind the shot chart that spits in the face of Daryl Morey, and a silhouette that screams Risache, I believe there is more than what meets the eye with Nate Ament. That while the star potential might be out the window, he still has the makings of a valuable contributor. To start, Ament has actually oriented his game adeptly around his flaws, all things considered. His feel for driving is outstanding for this stage. Notice how he chews up the available real estate?
Ament.
His handle is very fluid, moving east-west.
Couple crossovers.
The hip mobility isn't bad either for his size.
Ament going to work. Ament. Bond wins this game for the Volunteers. 16 offensive rebounds.
That's a foul. Exactly.
Ament throws it up and he kisses it.
Back to Ament. Pull up at the elbow. Perfect.
The Northern Virginia native also owns a proficient reverse pivot footwork package. Even if some aspects don't come super naturally to him, he appears to be a problem solver.
This is a guy that went to the Final Four last year. Talked about it in the first game. You got to have guards that understand how to win in
There
March.
you go. Ament's going to have a chance for 3.
His minutes, you're talking about Dickie B mentioned 16.6 points per game. This big guy's been a starter.
This leads into another reason to bet on Ament: his mentality. Rather than succumbing to the higher competition or the strict infrastructure of Rick Barnes, he kept pushing.
I got modeled, want to lick me like some can.
Terry tried to get baseline.
And I'm coming hand. Last day 7, you know I'm not brand. Hit it with no condom, had to make her eat a plan. And I'm sipping on that not brand.
This wiring manifested in a gargantuan free throw rate, shedding the soft narrative one forceful take at a time.
Really good defensive rebounder, especially. Here's the progression we've been talking about.
I left that for long because she was wrecked.
He gutted through a nasty high ankle sprain late in the season to still have an impact in SEC play. We also must consider the development curve. Soccer was his first sport, and he didn't start focusing on basketball until it became something to do during COVID. He played public school ball as a 9th and 10th grader. By all accounts, he's a late bloomer, and the improvements over the course of the NCAA season tracks with this. The problem solving and the resiliency demonstrate an aptitude for growth. Combine that with his unique set of skills, and shouldn't the idea of Nate Ament excite us? Yes, there perhaps is a missing the forest from the trees element here. He shot 49% in the paint in the NCAA. Barring a massive shooting lead, what is the pathway to becoming passable from the field? Is there any evidence that he'll mature into a plus shooter?
National prominence. Back in the mid-70s.
Defensively, he integrated himself nicely as a perimeter cog with the Vols. But how does he leave an imprint in the league? He'll never be the most fleet of foot, the most physically imposing, or the most vertically explosive. It's still unclear how he'll respond to NBA intensity. But it's hard to overthink size. Standing at 6', 9.5 without shoes, with the 9, 1.5 standing reach, puts him at very similar measurements to Derek Queen and Nikola Jovic among recently drafted players. the margins are just so much greater. While the 2-point scoring was disturbing, part of it was a product of Tennessee's double big alignment. In fact, Ament's mid-range heavy diet grew into a harmonious fit with the team's style. There were even glimpses of facilitating within these tight corridors. Ament's playmaking is arguably a bit ahead of comparable forwards entering the draft. Putting it all together, I still view Nate Ament as more of a project type, in a similar vein to Ace Bailey last year. However, I have much more faith in Ament carving out a long career for himself. A couple comparisons could be Harrison Barnes and Tobias Harris, forwards who grew into mainstays on multiple contending teams, even if they left everyone underwhelmed on a possession-by-possession level impact-wise. Ament carries analogous limitations to these guys, and I have trust in his character that he'll abandon the KD hopes and dreams. So what's the valuation in this 2026 draft? I'd be content selecting Nate Ament in the back third of the lottery, so long as the organization has a streamlined development plan that includes maximizing his closeout catches and limiting his exposure to overpowering forwards. Feel like I missed something? Any and all feedback is appreciated. Thanks for watching.